A few of my crochet friends have asked me, how do I make my heel flap? I start on one end and work a row across the back and then decrease toward the heel at the very edge. And then I work a few rows around, cleaning up that new edge around the heel flap that I've created, and then work in a circle or in the round until I make decreases going up the ankle, or gusset areas some people call it, before the ankle. So here I'm figuring out which side I would like to work with and where I will start, but you'll start with a chain, and as I mentioned before, you'll use a single crochet, or place a single crochet into each stitch until you get to the opposite edge. So I've already made the foot portion for my sock, and now I'm just working on the heel flap. So all this video is the heel flap. So I'm going to continue in single crochets until I get to the very end or edge of the opposite side, and I'll meet you there. Now that we've reached the other side, what we're going to do is make sure that it is the width that we want, and chain one, turn our work, and continue to make a single crochet on this new row that will be back and forth until you're just a few centimeters, I will say maybe 3 centimeters to the edge of your heel, before the edge of your heel, and that's where we will stop, and I'll meet you back there. So when you reach a couple of centimeters before you get to the edge of your heel, and of course this is a recipe tutorial, you will come to know what you like and what favors, what stitches you favor and what length you favor as you've made a sock or two. So what we're going to do now that we've gotten to about a couple of centimeters before the edge of the foot is double check and make sure you didn't skip any stitches. It's the length that you want. Just take a look at your work is all that I'm doing. And then what we'll do then is start to decrease on each side. So on one side, I skip the first stitch and decrease 2 single crochet together on that side, and then when I get to the edge of the row, I'll decrease at the end with 2 single crochet together. And I'll continue the same, skip 1 after I've turned my work, decrease in the next 2, and then decrease in the last 2 of that row. And I'll continue this until I have about 7 or 8 stitches. I forget which one, but it will be 7 or 8 stitches left in that row, and it will form a nice shape of a curve. You'll start to see a kind of a curve develop that will flap upwards toward your foot instead of flat as it is here. So skip that first stitch and single crochet 2 together to start the decrease, and then single crochet again all the way into the last 2 stitches, which is where we will single crochet 2 together for a decrease on the opposite end. So I'll work this one row and turn my work, and then I'll meet you back after we only have about 8 or 7 stitches left. So now as we're drawing to the end of the row with the decrease at the end, single crocheting 2 together, we're going to chain 1, turn our work, and repeat this until we have those last few stitches, 7 or 8 left, and that's where I'm going to come back and meet you. So when you get to a few centimeters before the edge of your heel, you will count your stitches to see if it's about 7 or 8 stitches. And I'm saying 7 and 8 because it doesn't matter very much. Because if your count is off, it's okay because it's all going to be hidden. But you'll see that there's some curvature here, but it looks really ragged around where the decreases are, and that's where we're going to clean up the heel quite a bit by reattaching the yarn on the right side and working single crochet row back and forth. There will be some decreases, before we start to work in around for the gusset area. So here we're going to detach our yarn, and I don't know why I left this tail so long, but we're going to pull that out so that it doesn't unravel, and we'll cut our yarn, not detach, and then reattach our yarn on that right side. And when we reattach our yarn, we're going to chain one, and we're reattaching where that first row started. And it can seem a bit difficult to work on the side of crochet where the stitches are not very pronounced, but I hope zooming in this area is a bit helpful to you to see where I put my stitches. They usually do line up with the number of rows that you made, but you don't have to be, it's not necessary for it to be exactly perfect for you to get the fit that you want and the look that you want as far as matching up the number of stitches with the rows. So we can be relaxed about it. If the video seems to be going a bit too fast for you, you do have settings on your YouTube where you can select for it to slow down, half a speed, or even increase the speed if you would like. So I know many, and I myself have found that helpful if you need it to go a little slower. But that's all we're going to do for this section here, is to work the single crochets around the edges, and we'll put decreases in the next row of single crochet. Once we get to the very edge of the row or end of the row, what we will do then is we will slip stitch into the foot before we make, you see it here, before we make our turn. And when we make our turn, this is when we're going to begin the row of decreases. Now, depending on each person, you may decide to decrease in different areas, but for me, I decrease by single crocheting 2 together right after I begin to turn the row. You want it to decrease at that on each side of where the heel flap and the foot meets, and you will also want to decrease close to where the curvature is toward the back of the heel flap as well. So we'll complete this row, fully this row together, and you can see where I decided to put my decreases. So now that we've gotten to the end, we will decrease two together and slip stitch into the foot. Now we're going to begin to work in the row. Now, so for some people, you may want to decrease continually on those edges toward the back. You can, you may not. For this particular pair of socks, I may not have to do that unless my sister gives me a call and lets me know she needs those decreases after I give her the size. But you can decrease wherever you like. So here we're going to continue to decrease at the corners where the heel flap and the foot meet. For some people, they will decrease, of course, where it curves toward the back and in the front, but it just depends on the fit that you like. So you guys, this is basically it. You continue to working around and placing your decreases where you see fit. It's just that simple. I am and probably will always be a big advocate of making to fit for yourself, to fit your body type, your size, because your wearables are so much more enjoyable that way. So play around with this recipe. I guess tag me if you decide to make something. Send me an email if you decide to make my vanilla socks, whether you use the heel flap or not. I would love to see it and love to hear your journey, your crochet journey, especially with crochet socks. But I do hope this was helpful, you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. I am not the best teacher, but hopefully I can help you as best as I can. But until the next time, you guys take care, and I will see you again in the next video. Bye.